Me and my husband, we actually just purchased our house, and our first mortgage is August 1st. So when I tell you God timing is perfect,
Wow.
it's perfect. So I'm looking at this schedule,
Yes.
and at closing, I saw it, but I can't find it now.
Oh, I
And I
can.
know they just sold the mortgage already to a
Yep.
new mortgage company.
They
So
do
how do
that.
I get access to this?
I'll produce one for you in just a few seconds. How's that?
Okay.
How much did you borrow? It doesn't have to be exact.
I know we put 3% down.
Right.
The mortgage was for 354, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
999.
Mm-hmm.
And we put 3% down. So whatever the difference is from that.
Okay, hold on.
And we had a 3.5 interest rate.
Okay, so 354?
Yes, was the price, but we put 3% down.
354 999 times 3%. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
about $10,649.97. And subtract that
354.
354,999. All right. So 344,349. So we'll do that. All right.
Okay.
344,349. Okay. 344,349. All right. And you say your interest rate is what?
3.5%.
3.5. Okay, 3.5. Now, this is basically it. I'm just looking at the principal and interest payment. Okay. We're not talking about the taxes and insurance that's added to this. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is basically where we are. $1,546.28 in principal and interest. We're looking at on 344,349. The bank wants $212,311.80. The total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 61%, 61.656%. This is what the bank wants. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
you know that $212,000 is not 3.5% of 344,000. Just not that. All right. So now let's take a look at your very first payment. About $541.93 goes to principal, $1,000 goes to interest. So here's the thing. You can get an amortization schedule, but this is based on what you see here. This schedule is based on following the exact payments. If you pay even 10 cents extra, do you realize it destroys the whole amortization schedule? It's off now and you need a new one. Every time you pay extra, you need a new amortization schedule.
Gotcha.
So just getting it from the bank or even creating your own is not enough. You want to know exactly what to do. This is why we have a system that does all this work for you and tells you exactly how much to pay, what month to do it in, what day of the month to do it on, and which loan to attack. And we're going to tell you how much interest you save each time you do it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, I want to show you one other thing, and you then tell me. All right. So do you see on my screen? Can you see line 12 and line 24 on my screen? Can you see that?
Yes.
All right. So if the third column is cumulative principal and the fourth column is cumulative interest, we have 6,608.47 in cumulative principal and 11,946.89. That's the amount of interest that the bank wants in 1 year. But in 2 years, we have 13,452 and then 23,658. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you have plenty of money in the bank and I only give you two choices to prepay, okay, which one would you prepay? The 6,608 on line 12 or the 13,452 on line 24 and get rid of 24 payments? Which one would you choose if you have plenty of money in the bank?
13,452.
Why?
Because I'm paying more towards my principal, and
Mhm.
that's like money in the bank because it's equity. And
Mhm.
I'm also saving on insurance
All
that
right.
I'm paying the bank.
All right. Now let me show you. You are saving. You are doing exactly what you said. But I'm going to show you something the bankers will never, ever tell you. But it is how you spend money each and every day, but not here. You don't do it here. You do it everywhere else. You know how much you're getting per dollar on something. When I buy gas, I pay attention to how much it costs a gallon, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I go buy a fish at the store, I know how much it is per pound. Even when I buy grapes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Does your family like grapes?
Yes.
If grapes are $7 a pound this week, are you buying grapes?
No, my husband, he will.
And how would you feel about if you found that out?
I'm like E.T. Wife. I'd
Okay.
be like, you paid that much?
There you go, folks. Here's what we're talking about. So what you want to know is, when I pay my money, am I saving the most per dollar when I do it? And that's what's key. Now, you may want to bring out a calculator on this, okay?
Okay.
But I'm going to put one on the screen. All right. So we're saving about 11,946.89. All right. If we prepay the 6,608.47. All right. So remember, let's just pretend we have plenty of money in the bank. So I'm going to divide it by what I pay. This is what I'll receive. But let's go ahead and put in what the division here. So we're going to divide it by 6,608.47 equals, I'm saving $1.80 for every dollar I put on. Now, has anybody ever explained it this way to you, that even $1 will save you $1.80 in interest on this mortgage?
No.
Is that good to know?
Yes.
What your dollar will do for you? Even $1? You know, if I want, I can break this all the way down to 1 penny. That's why I pick up pennies in the parking lot. I know how much interest I'm saving per penny.
Nice.
Our program does all of that. So let's do line 12. So I'm saving $1.80 per dollar. That's pretty good. Okay. So let's do line 24. So I'm going to clear this out. We're going to put in 23,658.72 and divide it by 13,452 equals, $1.75 per dollar. If I could save $1.80 per dollar when I'm doing something, should I ever accept $1.75 per dollar?
No. Wow.
It matters how much you pay. So it gets deeper and deeper, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
There is so much we don't know about this thing, Miss Tammy.
I see.
And this is why we want to give people everything they need. It's all contained in our computer program, and you follow it just like financial GPS. The program tells you exactly what to do with your money in the right amount. But what you first put in is, how do we want to spend our money? That's what you put in first.
Absolutely.
This is how my family spends money, Don. Now, what can you do with the rest? And we will tell you just how that happens if you get a savings and earnings report. That would be your first step. That way you can know the month, day, and year you're going to be debt free, and how you can save the most amount of interest that's mathematically possible for you. If you can get the same asset for 75% off on the interest payments, what can you now do with the interest money you didn't have to spend to buy this home? Ooh, so listen, her mind's turning. We could do a bunch with that money, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
Do you want to save some money, or do you want to save the most money that you possibly can?
The most that you possibly can.
And listen, folks, the only way we can beat the bank's computer is to have a computer of our own that is specifically designed to beat them at their own game. You can't do it with pencil and paper. You just can't. It's just too much to do. Okay.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.